welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to crochet this super cute kind of like gypsy top right here off the shoulder, and it's super cute and super easy to create. You guys will love everything about this top, so enjoy the video and let's begin with today's project. I'm going to be using a measuring tape, a 4mm elastic, thread and needle to sew the elastic, a small pair of scissors, tapestry needle, and a 1.75mm hook. And this is the yarn that I'm going to be using for today's project. Is the Claire. It's from Brazil. You can actually get this yarn on eBay or Amazon. I'm going to be linking everything in the description below if you guys want to check it out. And this yarn is 100% cotton as well. These are the shades that I'm going to be using. Also, the shades that I'm using here in today's video will be in the description below. This one is more like a pale yellow. This one is more like a medium shade. And this one is more like a sunny yellow. And I'm going to be using each color for each row of shell that I'm going to be doing. And for the pattern that I'm going to be using, it's going to be also linked in the description below, and it's going to be on my website for you guys. And this is the pattern that we are going to be using for the stitching. This one, I've created a video for you guys already explaining everything from the beginning and how many chains you have to make and exactly how you have to make, because otherwise this video would be too long. So the first thing that you're going to be doing, or you're going to be measuring around your shoulders, is a little bit down your shoulders, or you're going to be cutting a piece of the elastic that it's basically going around that area in your body and making sure that it's not too tight and it's not too loose, because you want to make sure that the dress stays very still and it's not going to be falling off. So for my measurement is 99 centimeters, and I've cut my elastic 71 centimeters because this elastic is very stretchy. So you want to make sure that you cover the 99 when you basically pull the elastic and it reaches that number. So once you have the elastic on the centimeter that you need, what we are going to be doing is just sewing both ends together. So we have a little circle right here. And you're just going to be hand sewing just both parts together, just making sure that it's nice and secured as well. So once you have the elastic done, you're going to be leaving this at a side. And also now you need to make sure that you have also the measurement of your shoulders going around your shoulders. It's basically the same way that I did the elastic, but also measuring as well. And I told you guys already that's 99 centimeters for going around my shoulders. So that's what we are going to be using now for this part. And I'm going to be choosing my lightest shade, this one right here, which is kind of like a pale yellow. And what we are going to be doing, we are going to be creating a chain that is long enough to cover the 99 centimeters plus a little bit more, so you have a little bit more of space so you can move your arms. So I'm going to be starting right here with a slip knot. And then from here, you're going to be starting your chain. And I'm going to be creating a chain of about 288 chains, but I'll confirm with you guys once I have this completed. So as you can see here, I finished my 288 chain. So now what we are going to be doing is creating the pattern. If you guys want, you can attach these two parts together and working around. I'm not going to be working in rounds. I'm going to be creating exactly how I showed you guys in my video, just like this. And then after, when that's completed, I'm going to put both parts together, and then I'm going to be sewing here on the side. So this is my chain. I'm going to be creating the squares and then the shells. I will see how it goes, but I want it quite that size, but because this yarn here is a little bit thin, probably I'll have to add one more row, but I'll let you know how many rows I did. But you can just go ahead and follow the pattern or follow the video, and when you have this done, you can come back and then I'll show you guys what to do next. So as you can see here, I just finished the very first row with the shells, and this is how it looks like. So now we are going to be jumping into the next color and the next row, and let me explain to you guys how I'm going to be changing the colors. So from here all the way to the very last row here in the shell, I'm going to be doing one color, and then from this point, this is the beginning, so from this point all the way to the next shell, so right at the end of the shell, I'm going to be changing the color. And then when I get to this point all the way to the end of the other shell, it's going to be another color. At the moment I'm here into my lighter one, the lightest one. Now I'm going to be changing to this one, and then I'm gonna go to that one. So now to attach my yarns together, here I just cut my yarn from the project. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna get both ends just like this, and then with this end you're going to be creating a one knot right here, and then with that end you're going to be creating a knot on this side. You're going to be pulling the actual yarns, the one from the project and the one attached to the yarn bow. So you're just gonna pull them. So now you can just go ahead and cut both ends. It's not gonna unravel, trust me. So here you're just gonna be cutting both ends. So from here now I'm going to be continuing with my pattern. So as you can see, I have finished my 3 sections here for right at the top where the off the shoulder is going to be. And if I measure this part for you guys, it's around 55 centimeters, as you can see. So that if we go around, that's 110 centimeters. And then after that, we are going to be adding the elastic here right at the top, so that it's nice and fitted here around the shoulders. So now the next thing we're going to be doing is getting these 2 parts and sewing them together. If you worked in rounds, then you can just skip this step and then go into the next one. So to sew both parts together, first you're going to fasten off right here. I'm going to be leaving a little bit of the yarn, as you can see, just a little bit, so I can sew the yellow parts together, because each color I'm going to be sewing with the color that is supposed to be, because otherwise you will be able to see the darker yellow here and also here. After chaining one, you can just pull the yarn, pull tight so you can fasten off. So now with my tapestry needle, I'm going to be putting both parts together and sew them. So getting the very first stitch right here, sew that together, and then just working your way down, matching each row. And when you get here where the color finishes, you're just gonna fasten off, and then you're gonna change the color and sew it all the way back to the next one and then the last one. When the sewing is done, I'm just going to be turning here on the right side, and you're basically going to be having a circle right here. So now I'll show you guys how I'm going to be doing the border. I'm still going to be using the dark yellow, so I'm going to be starting right here with a slip knot, and I'm going to be attaching into any of the stitches here on the bottom. I'm going to be just choosing close to the sewing right here. So I'm going to be attaching into this double crochet right here, just with the slip stitch. And what I'm going to be doing is creating half double crochets. So I'm going to be chaining 2, and now I'm just going to be following the single crochets that I'm supposed to do here on the bottom, but I'm going to be using a half double crochet instead of the single crochet. So I'm just gonna create the half double crochets instead of the single crochets, just following the pattern. And when I get here right at the top of the shell, here on the chain 2 space, I'm going to be creating a half double crochet, chain 3, go back into the very first one at the back and slip stitch. So I'm going to be creating a picot and then another half double crochet. So I'm going to be having a half double crochet, a picot, and a half double crochet. So now I'm just going to be continuing with the half double crochets all the way to the next shell, and then I'll do the picot on that one as well. And when I get here at the top of the shell, I'm going to be creating one half double crochet, a picot, and another half double crochet. And then from here I'm just going to be continuing with my half double crochets and the picots, and then I'll meet you guys at the end. So when you get here towards the end, you're just gonna kind of like imagine the middle of the shell, because this one is basically where the sewing is. So I'm going to be creating my picot right into that stitch. So I'm going to be creating half double crochet, chaining 3, going back to the very first stitch at the back, and then slip stitch, and then one more half double crochet. Now what you're going to be doing is just going back into that very first chain that we've created and slip stitch. So now here you can chain 1 and fasten off and weave in the yarn. So this is how the off the shoulder part looks like once it's completed. And I've placed a stitch marker here on the reverse, so I know that every time that I need to create something on the inside, I know which side is basically the reverse. So now what we are going to be doing is adding the elastic here right at the top. I'm also going to be matching the sewing with the sewing that I did here on my elastic. I'm going to be matching my yarn to the color that I did when I did right here at the top, creating a slip knot and attaching into any of the stitches here right at the top. I'm going to be attaching right here with a slip stitch. So once you have attached your yarn, you're going to be chaining 2, and then you're going to incorporate the elastic here at the back. Just hold it. The beginning is a little bit hard, but it's going to be easy after. And then you're just going to be creating the single crochets with the elastic here at the back. So just go through the stitch that you have to go, grab the yarn and single crochet, and then into here the top of the double crochet as well, go through the stitch, grab the yarn and single crochet. Here on the chain you're going to be making 2 because we have 2 chains right here. So we are going to be creating 2 single crochets, and then on top of the double crochet 1 as well. Don't want to make it too tight here, the stitch. You want to make it a little bit looser but not too loose. You just want to make it to fit here the elastic, and then you're just going to be repeating the same all the way around. And also when you get here towards the end, just make sure that you get all the stitches in the base, and then I'm going to be connecting these 2 sides together. So now we can chain 1 and fasten off. So this is how it looks like with the elastic, and you can see that it's nice and stretchy, and it's going to be holding very nicely around your shoulders as well. So this is how the off the shoulder part looks like when it's on, and I really like it because it's kind of like an ombre look, so it looks really pretty. Now I'm going to be using some stitch markers because we are going to be making 4 marks, 2 at the front and 2 at the back. So what you want to do, you want to measure here from the end of your collarbones going down and marking 2 stitches right here. So here and here. So I'm just going to be following this top because it's exactly what I'm going to be doing underneath. So go ahead and mark it down. And now you're going to be doing exactly the same to the back as well. The front is not going to be curved, it's going to be straight because we are going to be doing double crochets from here to here. But here This is exactly what I'm gonna be doing here underneath my armpits. I'm going to be creating this little curve right here, so creating increases all the way here to the middle of my body right here. So once you have the stitch markers in place, we are going to be turning inside out. And if you're wondering, from this stitch marker all the way to this one, I have 21 squares, so 21 going across right here. So you're going to be choosing a side to start with. I'm going to be starting this way into this stitch marker right here, and we are going to be starting right into this double crochet right here, grabbing only one stitch from that double crochet, the stitch here at the back, and creating a slip stitch just to attach my yarn. And then from here I'm going to be starting the pattern, so I'm going to be chaining 3 and then double crochet into the next stitch. So right here I have 3 double crochets. We are just going to be doing on 2 because here in the base we have 2 little chains, so we are just going to be doing 2 double crochets here where the chain is. So get 2 stitches from the double crochet, and then you're going to be doing the double crochet just like that. You're going to be basically skipping the middle double crochet. As you can see, there is a middle one right here, and then you're going to go into the last one, the third one, and then you're going to be creating the next double crochet. So when you get to the next double crochet right here, you're going to go and grab 1 little stitch or 2, but just the back stitch, and then double crochet. When you get here at the chain, you're just gonna get 1 as well. You see there is only 1 stitch right here at the back, and then double crochet. So you're basically gonna be following the pattern that it's already in the project, and then doing kind of like rows here, grabbing stitches from the back. So now you can just go ahead and repeat the same steps, and then I'll meet you guys when I reach the next stitch marker. So I go here into the second stitch marker. So now what I'm going to be doing is creating my very last double crochet. So now I'm going to be doing increases on both sides, and I'm going to be doing increases, as I told you guys already, all the way to my armpit. So to create the increase, you're going to be chaining 3, turning project, and then into that very first stitch, not this one, the very first one that the chain is coming out of, on that one you're gonna be creating a double crochet. So this is what the increase is gonna look like. So now you can just create double crochets all the way down, following here the double crochets that we've created, and then at the end I'll show you guys how to do the increase as well. And then in this very last one right here, we are going to be creating 2 double crochets. So now we are going to be repeating the same. So chain 3, turn project, and then double crochet into the very first stitch. So we create an increase. And then you're going to be creating double crochets all the way down, all the way to the very last stitch. And then in the very last stitch, you're going to be creating 2 double crochets to also have an increase at the end. So here at the moment I have 3 rows completed, 1 with no increase and 2 with increases. So now you're going to be repeating the same all the way until you reach your armpits on both sides. I will do as many rows that I need, and then I'll let you know how many rows I did once I finish and I know exactly how many rows I have to do. And right here I've created 10 rows, including the very first one without the increase and then the ones with the increase. And once you've done that, we are going to be continuing now, but I'm going to be changing the pattern. So right here is only double crochets, and now I'm going to be doing the zigzag pattern. So starting from here, I'm going to be chaining 3, and then also we are going to be kind of using the steps that we did here for the increases, but it's not going to increase your project, okay? It's just for the pattern. And then in this very first stitch right here, we are going to be creating our first double crochet, and then we are going to be creating 4 double crochets. Now we are going to be skipping 2 stitches here from the base. Into the third one we are going to be creating a double crochet, and then we are going to be following with 4 more double crochets, so it's basically 5 including this one here that we've created. And then you're going to be chaining 2 into the next stitch, so no skipping. We are going to be creating now a sequence of 5 double crochets. So now we are going to be skipping 2 into the third one, a double crochet, and then following with 4 more double crochets. So this is the pattern that you're going to be doing for the very first row. So I'll finish it off and then I'll come back to show you guys how to do the next row. So I finished here my pattern with 3 stitches, so I'm just going to be basically following the pattern. So skipping 2 stitches, in the very last one a double crochet, and then adding 1 extra double crochet into that very last stitch. So you just want to make sure that you add 2 double crochets at the beginning and 2 double crochets at the end. So next row you're going to be chaining 3, turning project, and in that very first stitch you're going to be creating a double crochet. So now you're just going to be following the previous row and do exactly what's in that row. So right here we skipped 2 and we don't have any chains right here, so we're not going to be chaining. We are going to be skipping these 2 stitches right here for the double crochets and going to the next one right there, and then double crochet, and then creating double crochet until you reach the chain 2 space. So when you get here at the chain 2, you're going to be creating a double crochet, chaining 2, and then another double crochet here into that chain 2 space. So now you're just going to be continuing with the double crochets until you reach this right here. So you're going to be skipping the 2 stitches into the third one, double crochet. So we are just following the pattern, and then at the top of the chain 2 you're going to be creating a double crochet, chaining 2, and then a double crochet. And then now you're just going to be following the same steps all the way down, and then I'll show you guys what to do at the end as well. So now I'm getting here at the end, so I'm just going to be following all of the stitches all the way till the end, so 5, and then at the end here with the very last one you just want to add 1 extra there for the pattern. And now what you're going to be doing is repeating the same pattern all the way down your waist. I'm going to be doing mine and then I'll let you know how many rows I did. So this is how it looks like once you complete all of the rows here with the chevron, the ripple, or the zigzag stitch. There are so many ways to call this little stitch right here. I just call it zigzag stitch. I did here 20 rows from here all the way down to here, and if I measure here for you guys, it's around 24 centimeters from here right at the top all the way here where I finished. And I'm still going to be adding a little finishing here at the bottom as well, so it's going to be probably around 25 centimeters. And if you want the top a little bit longer, then you can just continue creating as many rows as you need until you're happy with the length of your top. I'm happy with this because I'm going to be kind of doing a little crop top, and as you can see I followed exactly this one that I showed you guys, and I've created here the front part of the top, and I basically follow exactly how I showed you guys here with my little 2 stitch markers. I did the double crochets, the increases, and the ripple stitching all the way down. So once you have these 2 completed, we can go ahead and sew here the sides. So I'm going to be using my tapestry needle. I'm going to fasten off right here. So we are going to be turning the top here on the reverse because we are going to be sewing on the reverse. So I'm going to be doing this side here with you guys. So you're going to be turning the top like this for now. And you can go ahead and choose one of the shades to sew this part here. I'm going to be choosing the lightest one. And I'm going to be using a double yarn here on my tapestry needle. Go ahead and thread your needle with the yarn. And at the end here, I'm just going to be creating a little knot. And just cutting the remaining yarn after the knot. We are going to be sewing only where we've created here the ripple pattern right here, the zigzag pattern. So from this row here all the way to the end. We cannot sew this part right here because this one is for the arms and that goes kind of like around the armpit. So what we're going to be doing is finding this very first row here that we've created the zigzag stitch. We are going to be inserting the tapestry needle right here, and we are going to be doing exactly the same to this one. And you're not gonna go all the way through. What you're gonna do, you're gonna go through here, this little loop here at the end. And when you pull right here, you're already fastened off right here at the top, so you don't have to do anything else. And what you're gonna do now, guys, is just match the rows. You want to make sure that you match them, and we are going to be grabbing one stitch from one side, one stitch from the other side, and sew it together. A very simple sewing. So what I like to do is add a stitch marker where each color ends. So I'm just gonna be sewing them in place now. Here towards the end, you're just gonna go through the very last one again. Create a little loop, and you can fasten off by going through this loop right here. So that's how the sewing looks like, and we are going to be doing exactly the same on the other side. So this is how it looks like basically when the top is closed. And I did try it on already to see the length of my top. I'm very happy. It's a little bit above my belly button, and it's going to be perfect with the skirt because it's going to be right on my waist. So now for the finishing touches, of course we need to weave in all of the yarns that we have here around the project. You can just go ahead and do that if you want. And I'm just going to show you guys how I'm going to be doing a little finishing here on the bottom. And I'm going to be doing with the darker yellow, this one right here, so it matches this edging right here, and we are going to be doing very similar to what we did right here as well. So we are going to be creating a slip knot, and we are going to be attaching into any of the stitches here from the bottom of the top. So I'm going to be attaching my yarn right here where I did the sewing. You can find any stitch right here and attach your yarn. We are going to already weave in these two yarns here. So we are going to be chaining one. We are going to be working with single crochets. We are going to go through here one stitch right beside it. Create our first single crochet. And then the next one. And then right here we are going to be creating a picot. So you create a single crochet right here. You chain 3. Go back. And then slip stitch into that stitch, and then you're just going to be continuing with the single crochets until you get basically, I'll show you guys. So we are going to be creating the picot when we get here on top of the chain 2 or the 2 double crochets right here, as you can see, just right here and right here. So you're going to be creating a single crochet right on top. And then right on top of that, we are going to be creating a picot. So chain 3, go back, and slip stitch into the 3rd chain. And then from here, you can just continue the single crochets and the picots going all the way around, making sure to follow all of the stitches here from the base. I'm getting here towards the end now, and I'm going to be doing just another peek out right here before I finish this row. So I think I'm gonna do it right here. So 3 chains, slip stitch at the back on the first chain and single crochet into the next one, and we are going to be slip stitching right here on the other side. There we go, chain 1, and you can fasten off and weave in the yarn, and we are going to be cutting these ones as well. So I'm just going to be weaving in and cutting all of my yarns around here, my project. So this is the project completed. As you can see, this is how the top looks like, and it looks so cute. I love this kind of ombre effect right here that it's happening, and I'm putting quite a lot of things to sell on my website and on my Depop account as well, just to support a little bit here the channel. So if you guys are interested, I'm going to be linking that in the description below, and this top right here, it's also going to be available on my account as well and on my website, so feel free to check it out. So I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you give a massive thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you can watch more videos like this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you guys on my next video. Bye bye.